Guys, Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Exit 8. This is a video game movie. I've seen the trailer for this a confusing number of times. But yeah, it is out. And I did want to review it when it, here. So, here we are to review it as objectively as possible. So, for those unfamiliar, Exit 8 is one of those indie video games I would consider, I guess, in terms of like budget and time put in and all of that good stuff. Now, to be clear, just because that is the case doesn't mean I'm not going to be harsh or glaze the movie just because. I have standards to uphold, so trying to review things as objectively as possible, again, is my game. Here, we follow a young man who ends up in a train station going toward Exit 8. For those unfamiliar with the game, he, once passing one corridor, if there is nothing out of the ordinary by continuing to go straight, then he'll end up in the next configuration. However, if there is something, different, or as the movie refers and the game as well, an anomaly, if that is the case, the character, and in this case the person in the movie, needs to turn around and go back the other way. And this must be achieved 8 times without failure. So having a mindful eye is the key. And so a large portion of this movie is essentially getting a handful of anomalies, him figuring, or him being trapped and not initially kind of burrowing forward for a lot of it, and because of this taking a lot longer to progress as he might have originally thought that he ought to be doing. Now, throughout this, we see this man passing through pretty consistently. He is what we would call a constant, the default state, as it were. However, through these repetitious pathways and whatnot, our main character inevitably comes across a different character, that being a child. The child also is an anomaly, but he assumes it is at first. So he heads back, restarting him, and eventually is joined by the kid for a decent portion. Once this happens in the movie, he's kind of started to figure out the rules of this actual nightmare of the situation, as it were. The kid recognizes the old man that is approaching upon each iteration. It's his dad, apparently. And we even get a flashback to when he was the one passing through casually, and it was another individual that was the consistent. So this hallway of hallways preys upon a person, gets them trapped down there, and then they become a part of the system, as it were. This definitely does add a little bit lore from what I've seen from the actual game itself. This definitely adds a little hint of extra lore that wasn't in the video game. You are just a first-person camera, after all, in the video game. And with there being characters now, this adds this layer of context about how the individual, you're looking at got trapped here as well. But both the main character and the boy are both determined to get out. He has to deal with a lot of baby, and inevitably, after successful, and I don't remember if he got out with or without the kid, because I know they get separated at a point. But he does end up at the end of the train station. He does end up at the staircase leading him outward. Obviously. That is the good ending, after all. So it would make sense to have him reach the ending of the video game as well as the conclusion. So in terms of adaptation, this game might be just where Iron Lung was in terms of, like, this is just pure adaptation. Like, as close as 1-to-1 as you can get to the video game, with adding just a smidge bit more to the lore. That's all they did. Everything else in this movie is the same. So that is quite impressive, I would argue, considering how many video game movies don't adapt very well. Look at Mario. Look at even Sonic. Despite being a good video game movie, it's not a video... I've said this time and time again. In terms of being an adaptation, it's not great. Sonic originally never went to the human worlds. He didn't do that until Sonic X, just as a friendly reminder. But hey, this was a pretty decent movie, all things considered. I suspect that it will probably get some more eyes on the video game. And hopefully this creator can do something a little bit more. I know that there are different iterations of the anomaly type game out there. Perhaps something a little bit more expansive, maybe create a lot more spooks and whatnot along the way, if they do wish to continue this prospect. That is one of the downfalls of the video game, at the least, is that there are only a handful of anomalies. You will, if you're being a bit careless, mayhaps, the chance of you saying all anomalies isn't actually impossible at all. It's actually very possible, but that is the video game. I am not talking about the movie anymore. So yeah, pretty short review, but there isn't too much to say about the movie. In terms of him as a character, he's just somebody trying to get home, had a wife or girlfriend, I forget which exactly, but which is why you do get that anomaly baby imagery later on, because there's issues about that, and so on and so forth. And yeah, like, he just seems like a rather casual guy, not somebody you hate. So it's not doing one of those things where you're rooting for the character to fail, necessarily. Though I would also argue that he isn't particularly strongly written. He's just sort of general, which again isn't necessarily bad. I think, considering that the video game doesn't even have a character, that does kind of make sense, quite frankly. That the character would come across a lot more generic comparatively speaking. So yeah, I would say this is a general 7 out of 10 type of movie. Rather enjoyable. And yeah, I guess, again, if you liked what you saw, I guess try to check out if you can try to find the video game. I mean, you'll probably get similar, if not very identical experiences, but I digress. Anyway, that's my review for Exit 8. If you ended up enjoying it, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description. One, I head you to my petition about small YouTubers. Second, to my PayPal, you can help support me and my channel directly. And third, to my Discord server, you can join Collab Shield, all that cool stuff for free. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.